I don't think it was going to be a good fit for him. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the next question. This next question comes from Spurs fan blog, and the question comes from Coos86. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. COOSE 86. And the question reads, what veteran free agent should we pursue, if any? All right, so Matty, this one comes from your blog. Let's go ahead and throw this one at you first.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to ask you guys because I'm not really 100% certain what veteran free agents are out there. I know one of the bigger ones is like Marcus Saul. I don't really know any other ones that are out there right now or that will be out there in a few months. Do you guys know of any old veteran free agents?
DeMar DeRozan's might be one of them.
Yeah, there's that.
Hold on, let me see really quick. If there's a position that you want to fill with free agency, right? You're bringing in a vet, expecting that you don't have to spend the time developing him, very much like Trey Lyles did for us this season. What position do you think the Spurs need to fill with free agency?
Well, if you're gonna bring in a free agent veteran, I would prefer more of a back or a front court. I think I don't want another backcourt veteran taking away minutes from, Keldon. Keldon's more of a front court, but DeJounte and Derek. I think a veteran big, like, I'm not saying we're gonna get Marcus All, but I think a guy like that would be great. Especially to mentor Jakob. This would probably be assuming we'd get rid of LaMarcus Aldridge or trade him for somebody. So if it was me, I would try to pursue a free agent veteran for the front court. But that's just me. I thought DeMar Carroll was a great addition last year at the small forward position, but look how that ended up. So I want someone that can contribute right away, obviously, but
like Christian Wood, 13.1 points
Wood.
a game, 6.3 rebounds.
I mean, he's a 4-year vet. He hasn't been in the league a ton, but I love a Christian Wood. I love a Marcus All. I think I saw Paul Millsap was a free agent too.
Yeah, he is. Tristan Thompson, Derek Favors, Aaron Baines is going to be a free agent again.
Bring back the Australian Hammer.
Yeah, you got Marcus All, Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a free agent front court guy.
Hey, what do you think about this name? What do you think about Jerami Grant? Wasn't he the one that played? Yeah, didn't he play for OKC? Is that the same Grant? Yeah.
Yep.
What about him?
I like him too. I mean, he's one of those versatile guys that we talked about. He can defend multiple positions on defense. He can play multiple positions on offense. So, I'm all for it. He's not really a superstar guy that's going to put up superstar numbers, but he's an excellent role guy, and I think if he can accept his role on this team, that he could be a major asset.
Yeah, I think he's I don't know much. I've seen him play, in spurts, but he's another one of those guys that's like, I'm not scared of any moment. I remember the first game, I think, against the Warriors when Kevin Durant switched teams. I think he was the one that was guarding him for the most part, and he was the most aggressive guy on the floor for a little while. So, Destin, let's go ahead and throw it to you next, man. Free agent, or for bringing in a veteran into the Spurs locker room, who would you like to see, or what position would you like to fill?
I'm looking at the free agents right now. Personally, my dream has always to have Gordon Hayward. I'm just like a huge Gordon Hayward person. Ever since I saw him with the Utah Jazz, I'm like, dude, this dude, he plays like, I don't know. It just felt like a more smooth, more polished, mellow without the ego. Kind of similar to what you said about Rudy Gay. He doesn't really fit as much, but I don't know. It's just something about Gordon Hayward, his attitude and his approach to the game, where it's like, man, I could see him in a Spurs uniform. But as far as more realistic, because I know he will probably be pretty expensive, I would guess, because he's making quite a bit right now. If we could get Jamal Crawford or something like that, I think that would be a cool just player to grab, and somebody that is familiar with DeJounte, because they have the same frame, they have the same length, like the exact same, actually, with height and wingspan. And then, he mentored him before. I think that would be a cool player to have, just, to be there for DeJounte. And we were talking about, I know Matty was talking about identity crisis that we have, and that's just completely true. And I think somebody like Jamal Crawford can add on to that more hard exterior that we need. You know, that toughness, that level of attention to detail that's going to go out there and be fearless. Because right now, it's so many different types of players. I think all of them get along as far as off the court. I'm sure all of them are friends and all of that. But as far as on the court and what this team is, I have no idea. And I had no idea what this team was for a few seasons now. So I think that having a player like that might be able to help just for the attitude and grooming DeJounte, because my biggest gripe with DeJounte is offensively, because I feel like he has the frame to end up being a really good scorer, but sometimes he has a hard time utilizing it. So that would be my picks.
So I'm looking at Gordon Hayward right now. He has a $34.2 million player option. So very, very similar to like what the Demar situation is over here. That's kind of what they're going for over there. And I love Gordon Hayward too. I love that scenario, but I want Utah Gordon Hayward. It's like I don't want Boston Gordon Hayward, and I definitely don't want San Antonio Gordon Hayward, where he's going to take even more of like, oh, I'm going to move the ball more. I'm going to take a season or two to get adjusted and all that stuff. If we could have like Utah Gordon Hayward, put him in here. Yeah, that's dirty. Harrison, let's throw it to you next. Free agency.
So I'll go with a couple small names because obviously there's our Giants we'd like to chase and all that. But two that jump out to me, Sacramento declined their team option on Harry Giles a few months ago. And that was just kind of puzzling because he's been healthy this season. He was putting up double-digit points and rebounds when he was getting good minutes. And, I mean, on the season, he's only playing about 15 minutes a game, and he's averaging about 5 points, 3 rebounds. So pretty solid numbers for him. He'd also come cheap because he doesn't have a lot of sample size to look at in terms of games played and all that. And I think with our medical staff looking after him and getting him some good time, there's another multifaceted big you could have in the lineup. I mean, the guy was a projected number 1 overall pick a couple years ago. He's insanely talented, and he's a good kid. And then the second that gets to me is Torrey Craig. He's on a expiring $2 million a year contract right now. I mean, he puts up 6, 3, and 1 per game, about 15 minutes the same. His role's decreased in Denver now that Michael Porter Jr. has been healthy and he's playing, so he might be looking for a little bit bigger role. I mean, you offer him $5-6 million a year. That's a guy that can come in, shoot about 35% from 3. He does what Forbes is doing for us right now, but with better defense. And same with Bellinelli, and you're getting the price of 2 for 1. So I think those are 2 small names to look at. Obviously the bigger ones you got DeRozan and all of that, but it's going to be a tight year for free agency for us if DeRozan does opt in. So I think we're going to have to look at those lower tier names that can kind of round out our bench.
Mm-hmm. There's a name out here that for some reason it just fits with everything that I see the Spurs needing. Otto Porter Jr. from Phoenix. I feel like when he's been in Phoenix, he's been more aggressive. He's had that killer instinct. Every time we play him, he looks like he takes it personal for some reason. I don't know what. So I like to see those games against Phoenix, even though they're just kind of throwaway games. He had a really good 2 or 3 seasons now. His option is worth about $28.5 million. So again, like he is getting paid a lot. But he's someone that I would like to see the dynamic shift. Like you talk about identity, we need toughness. We know all that. You throw Otto Porter Jr. in on a court, going up against Keldon or some of these other, top-rate defenders, and I can really see the competitive level just going through the roof. And I feel like that's something that we didn't have this year. It's just we just weren't competitive. Consistently we were uncompetitive. Didn't matter who we played against. No team was scared to play us this season. I feel like if we're going to go after a free agent, let's get a free agent who has that kind of swagger, competitive nature that we like so much and that we need so much here in San Antonio. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next question. The next question comes to you guys from the San Antonio Spurs Talk Facebook